How to become a licensed social worker in Colorado, a step-by-step guide. Hello, I am your host for this video presentation. My name is Shannon Heers. I am a licensed professional counselor, but I've been licensed in Colorado since 2007. My identities are she and her. I am also the founder of Firelight Supervision, the website that you are watching this video on, and I am an approved clinical supervisor. So the first thing to know about becoming licensed as a social worker in Colorado is that DORA, or the Colorado Department of Regulatory Agencies, is the licensing oversight for social workers. Under DORA, the social work department falls under the Division of Professions and Occupations, and then the Healthcare Professions Program and social work. So there are two different types of licenses in Colorado that are social work licenses. The first type is an LSW, or a licensed social worker. LSWs cannot practice clinical social work or psychotherapy independently, but they can do other work independently. This LSW is renewable every 2 years. An LCSW, or a licensed clinical social worker, is the highest independent level license of a social worker in Colorado. This is also renewable every 2 years. There are two other types of social work candidate permits. The first one is an SWC, or a clinical social worker candidate. This is non-renewable. You can get it once and it lasts for up to 4 years. While you're an SWC, you can earn your hours towards becoming an LCSW or an LSW. The second type of permit is an SWP, which is a provisional social worker. This is only for individuals who are solely working within a residential child care facility under supervision, so a state designated residential child care facility. So there are a few different pathways to get your LCSW, or highest independent license in Colorado. The first is social work candidate, SWC, to an LCSW. You can also get your LSW and then go to your LCSW. Or you can be a social work candidate and move to LSW, then LCSW. Or you can work in an exempt facility while accruing all of your hours towards your LCSW. An exempt facility is defined by DORA as a state-designated community mental health center, a state-run mental health hospital, a Department of Human Services setting, or Department of Veteran Affairs, or VA setting. So license timelines. For a social work candidate, you can get this immediately upon completion of an MSW, DSW, or PhD program. And you have 4 years maximum to accrue all of your LCSW required hours in supervision and pass the exam to get your LCSW. An LSW license timeline, you usually will get it within 1 to 3 months after you graduate with your MSW, BSW, DSW, or PhD program. When you have your LSW, you have 5 years max to accrue all of your LCSW required hours, supervision, and pass the exam. LSW, remember, is a license in Colorado, so you do have to renew this every 2 years, and you have to comply with the continuing education laws, which I'll talk about in a moment. For an LCSW, this is obtainable no less than 2 years postgraduate program graduation, so post MSW, DSW, or PhD program. This is also renewed every 2 years in perpetuity, and you have to comply with continuing education requirements. Just a reminder, please note that licensing requirements and regulations can change over time. It's essential for you to verify the specific requirements for each license on the official website of the Colorado Department of Regulatory Agencies, or DORA, or by contacting the department directly. So a little bit about the LSW, licensed social worker requirements. You must have a master's or a doctorate degree in social work from a program approved by the CWSE, Council on Social Work Education, or equivalent. You must pass the ASWB, which is the Association of Social Work Boards Master Exam. You must have successful completion of the Colorado Mental Health Statutes and Regulations exam, otherwise known as a jurisprudence exam, and you must pass a criminal background check. LCSW requirements, you must have, just like the LSW, a master's or a doctorate degree in social work from a program approved by CWSE or equivalent. You also must complete 3,360 hours of supervised postgraduate professional experience. You must pass the ASWB clinical exam. And just like the LSW, successful completion of the Colorado Mental Health Statutes and Regulations exam or the jurisprudence exam, as well as a criminal background check. So here are the LCSW supervised experience requirements. You must accumulate the specified number of supervised experience hours. To be an LCSW, that's 3,360 hours. This must be done in a minimum of 24 months or 2 years and per DORA reasonably distributed over the hours of supervised experience. You must have 96 supervision hours are required during this time, with a minimum of 48 of those hours must be individual supervision. The rest of those other 48 hours can be group supervision, but doesn't need to be. At least half of your 3,360 clinical hours, so half is 1,680, must include a professional relationship that involves treatment, diagnosis, testing, assessment, or counseling. Supervision for LCSW licenses can be completed in the following ways: individual, group, telephone, email, audiovisual, process recording, direct observation, telesupervision, telecommunication, and or hospital rounds. People who are trying to get their LCSW license must be supervised by an LCSW licensed in Colorado, except in rare occurrences that are specifically granted on an individual basis by DORA. I would say those are very rare. But the supervisor shall have sufficient knowledge of legal, ethical, and professional standards relevant to the clients being served or those clients that you work with, and the supervisor shall have clinical experience and competence adequate to perform and direct the services provided by the supervisee, which is you. Other than that, there are no requirements for an LCSW supervisor. However, DORA does recommend when you are looking for an LCSW supervisor, DORA recommends that you look for someone who has been licensed as an LCSW for at least 5 years, has completed some supervisor training. They have experience supervising and working with the population that you work with. There are no disciplinary actions on their license, that you have a good rapport with your supervisor and a similar theoretical orientation, and that your supervisor is competent to help you navigate licensure and DORA requirements. How to get started getting licensed in Colorado as a social worker. First, you want to create an online account on the online services portal through DORA. Then once you create your account, you're going to apply for a new license. You're going to check the type of social work license that you want to apply for, submit the required documents, and pay the application fee. So a little bit about continuing education. In Colorado, continuing education is called Continuing Professional Competency, or CPC. There are 3 different ways that you as a social worker can comply with CPC in Colorado. The first way is the Continuing Professional Development Program, which is what the bulk or most social workers will choose. The second one is Deemed Status, and if you don't know what this is, it probably doesn't apply to you. The third option to comply with CPC is through a military exemption. So I'm going to talk about the Continuing Professional Competency Program. The first thing you need to do, again, through your online services portal, is complete a professional practice rubric and self-assessment. You're going to do this at the beginning of every licensure period, and it basically says what you're going to work on over the next 2 years until your next license renewal, and how you're going to further develop as a social worker over the next 2 years. You're going to create a learning plan for yourself that's going to include professional development hours, or PDH, also known as continuing education, in different areas. Colorado requires 40 PDH, professional development hours, for every 2 years of license renewal as an LSW or LCSW. You can have no more than 20 of those professional development hours in one category. The good news is, in Colorado, almost everything counts as professional development as long as you document it correctly. The different professional development activities include volunteer service, mentoring, presenting, publishing, obtaining and providing supervision, obtaining and providing consultation, coursework, independent and group learning. So a few reference information. DORA, the website is www.dora.colorado.gov. And remember, you're looking for the Colorado Division of Professions and Occupations. The NASW chapter in Colorado is naswco.socialworkers.org. And if you want information about the ASWB exam, go to aswb.org. Finally, if you would like all of this information in a quick step-by-step guide, drop your email below and we will send that to you right in your inbox, so you don't have to remember everything I talked about on this video. Thank you so much. If you have any questions or are looking for social work supervision in Colorado, please reach out to us, info at firelightsupervision.com, or you can go to our team page, meet our clinical supervisors, and schedule a free consultation call with a supervisor who is the best fit for you. Thank you very much.